Doom, 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 doom. Do 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 do. 25-47. Do 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 do. I'm just sending out all the notifications. Just gotta send it out on Facebook right quick, and we lit it like just a couple of them. You know the rest. You know the rest. All right. Add the link to this story. Boom. All right, we are lit. We are lit. All right, I can pull up the the live chat. See everybody who's in here. Shout out to all the wonderful individuals. What up? What up? What up? My dog Sean up in here, bitch. What up, Driver Thoughts? What up, Nugget? How you been, player? You did? You ain't, I ain't seen you in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Hope you been good. Hopefully you been good. Hold on, let me go shut this door over here real quick. Be right back in like 2 seconds. My bad. It's almost 1 here. Gonna let it run for the view. Have a good evening. I appreciate it, Nugget. You have a good rest of the night, man. I appreciate you, rocking with your boy and doing that for your boy. Have to catch you. You have to come back and do the rewatch for sure, though, so you don't miss nothing, But good evening to you, player. I'm about to roll up. We're gonna let a few more people catch the vibe real quick, see the notification, and hopefully come tune in. We got a new Mr. Ballin story. I know you saw from the title. It sounds pretty crazy. Like the idea that you could be eaten alive, but then survive. So is it still called eaten alive when you live? Because you weren't, like, to be eaten means that you, like, there ain't no coming back, right? Like, how can you be eaten but then still be alive? Like, I guess unless part of you is eaten and they catch the bear before he finish eating you, bear or shark or whatever animal it is that is gonna eat you. I'm just thinking of like man-eating things capable of eating me. That's wild. Anyways, I know, man, it's been crazy. You've been hella just MIA, Sean. But I know exactly why though. You've been MIA, so it's all good, bro. It's all good, player. I appreciate you tuning in, coming and hanging out with your boy tonight. You dig? Let's go ahead and get this little bleeze rolled up, and then we're gonna jump into this video right quick. Hopefully y'all having a good night. You know what I'm saying? Staying high, staying fly, doing what you gotta do. Because there ain't nothing to do but stay high and stay fly. You know what I'm saying? Stay high and stay fly, baby. Because if you high, you probably fly. And if you fly, well, shit, you probably high. They just go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Hallelujah. All right. Let's go ahead. And let's ramble off all the amazing individuals who are members. You dig? Driver Thoughts, you're not a member no more? What happened? You were legitimately a member yesterday. What's going down? What's going down, Sean? What happened, player? All right, we got Trey 420, Neek Bones, Dwayne Allen, Nick Fisher, Dave Jones, Holla Boy, Happy Chick, Wild Turkey, Jamal, Netcoast, Lynn Willow, Epic Service. It should be Driver Thoughts after that. Misty Summers, Ryan Parks, Sam Glover, Keith, Manley, Funny Farm, Holla Girl, Taylor, Diesel, Creative Insane, Nicole, Aaron, Mama Dukes, Robin Lynn, Amy Jane Doe, Liz, Nugget, My Hood Life, and Gary Willis. Gang, gang, gang. Appreciate y'all, man. If you want to get shouted out like the rest of these amazing individuals, please think about hitting that join button down below. If you don't want to do that, and you're just like, nah, bro, I don't want to hit your join button. It's all right. Well, hit my subscribe button because that helps me out a lot too. I'm trying to hit 100K one day. You dig what I'm saying? So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification, help your boy out. It's free 99 at that. So, you know, you can't say no to free 99. But again, if you want to support on a little bit more of a level, on a different level, and get a little bit more out of our interactions, think about hitting that join button. Otherwise, let's go ahead and jump into this video, man. What up, Taylor? What up, Taylor? I'm Hope tonight, so I gotta support. Yeah, you're all good. You're all good. Appreciate you, bro. Hey, shout out to my dog Sean. Driver thoughts. He threw the 20. He said this will make up for it. Appreciate you, man. That was definitely, you know, not necessary. I just, again, you one of my homies. So when I noticed you weren't a member no more, I'm gonna notice it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna notice when the homies aren't. I mean, I pretty much notice every person who's ever became a member. Like, I notice when people are missing. I may not be able to pinpoint exactly who's missing at the moment that I notice it, but I do notice everyone every time. What up, Svetlana? What's up? What's up? All right, let's go ahead and jump into this video, man. My bad. I'm over here talking and shit. Hiker gets eaten alive and lives. Shout out to Mr. Ballin for this video, man. Let's go. It's time to get, you know, shit crazy. Taylor said, hey, I'm building a dispensary in The Sims 4 right now. Hell yeah.
In order to appreciate today's story...
Oops. Whoa. That was weird. There we go. I was trying to turn it up.
In order to appreciate today's story, I actually have to give something away right now. And that is, the main character survives. The reason I have to tell you that is because during this story, there is a really intense event that happens, and I use really specific descriptions for how something looked, how something felt, how something smelled, and if you didn't know, I was pulling that from the survivor who lived to tell the tale, you might think I was just making it up, but I'm not. But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the Strange Dark...
Before we even get into this, man, like, y'all better strap your boots on. You better get ready, because it sounds like things are about to get a little bit buck wild up in this piece, because that, I don't know, that just sounds crazy. Like, how do you get eaten alive but then still survive? Like, it just still doesn't make sense to me. Let's go.
Mysterious, delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place, because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, the next time the like button asks you to pick up some cereal for them, say yes, and then go to the store and buy the big...
It's a really good point, because off tops, I came into this reaction and said, bro, how can you be alive after being eaten alive? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. The whole title was just, like, baffling. But, you know, that disclaimer kind of, like, you know, it made it all make sense.
Single biscuit shredded wheat cereal.
For right now.
Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
Oh, you're all good, Sean. You're all good, player. You all good, player.
On July 19th, 2013, 49-year-old Matt Dyer climbed on board a tiny 19-seat Twin Otter airplane that was parked on the tarmac of the Montreal International Airport in Canada. Matt was about to take off on the first of 2 flights that would take him and 7 other adventurous people deep into one of the most remote and wild...
Nugget. It's a good point, Nugget. It's a good point. I can't even argue with you. I want to be like, bro, for real. But I like, it was too good, bro. That was a good one.
Regions in North America. For Matt, this trip was going to be the most amazing journey of his life. He had seen the ad for this 2-week-long expedition about a year earlier when he was looking through a magazine put out by an environmental organization called the Sierra Club. Now, even though Matt was a lawyer, he didn't make much money. He lived in this tiny town in central Maine where he made a living by offering either free or very low-cost legal assistance for some of the state's poorest residents. But Matt was an avid outdoorsman.
How did those, like, bro, this whole story is just filled with contradictions. This motherfucker just said he was a lawyer who is broke. How the fuck are you a lawyer and you're broke? How do those two things even go together, right? Like we was all taught in school, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be a fucking just something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the high paying jobs. How the fuck? How the fuck? You know what I'm saying? How the fuck you a lawyer and you broke? That don't even make no sense, bro. This
when
whole
he saw
story
the
is full of
opportunity to
contradictions.
explore
Shit's
one of
crazy.
Canada's newest
Hey,
national
gang. Shout out to my dog, Driver Thoughts, becoming a member again. Appreciate you, brother.
that was so far north it was practically in the Arctic Circle, he decided the hefty $6,000 price tag was well worth it. 2.5 hours later, after flying over 900 miles due north away from the airport in Montreal, the Twin Otter airplane that Matt and the others were riding on touched down on a narrow gravel landing strip situated between this huge forest on a mountainside and a river on the other side. After climbing off the plane with all of their equipment, Matt and the 7 others hustled their way over to the stretch of flimsy plywood buildings that lined the runway. These buildings and this entire area they were in was not a part of this new national park they were going to. This was like their staging area to prepare and get ready before catching another flight that would bring them into the park. And so Matt and the 7 other people he was with, which included the 2 trip leaders from the Sierra Club, they would stay at this temporary base camp for the next couple of days, going over their hiking routes and talking about emergency procedures and protocols. And then after those 2 days were up, the group felt like they were ready. And so the group packed up all their things and they boarded the tiny float plane out on the water that would take them to their final destination, this new Canadian national park, better known as the Torngat Mountains. 45 minutes later, the pilot of the float plane began to descend through the clouds to make their landing on a little water inlet. And as the pilot did that, Matt and the 7 others were able to look out the window and actually see the Torngat Mountains for the first time.
That would be kind of cool.
All of them had seen dozens and dozens of pictures of this area, but seeing it for the first time in person was still shocking. The area looks like an alien planet. The wilderness in and around the Torngats is not the same kind of wilderness we think of when we think about going hiking in the forest or going camping or something. No, the wilderness in the Torngats is primordial. It's like you're looking out at a place from the very beginning of time, like dinosaurs should be walking around this area. As far as Matt could see in any direction were these...
Feel better, brother. I'll hit you up tomorrow, or if you want to hit me up whenever you, are up and moving and everything, just hit me up, bro.
Huge, jagged mountains that had been carved out of the earth by glaciers hundreds of thousands of years ago. And those same glaciers had created hundreds of waterways between the mountains called fjords that almost looked like blue-veined fingers. And even from high up in the plane, Matt could look down and the water of these fjords was so clear that he could see these speckled backs of brown trout swimming beneath the surface.
Damn,
but
that's crazy.
while this landscape was undoubtedly spectacularly beautiful.
See, some shit like this sounds so perfect that it's like, you know something was gonna go wrong. Something has to go wrong. This shit sounds way too perfect, bro. Like, what the hell? But hey, Trey, appreciate you for rejoining the membership, brother. Shout out to Trey 420.
Pristine and totally incredible. It was equal parts unwelcoming to people. There are no roads in the Torngats, there's no campsites, there's no facilities, there's no internet, there's no cell phone, and the weather is unbelievably harsh. It's freezing cold and wet most of the time, and then even when it's a little bit warm and a little bit nice there, the weather can change in an instant and become freezing cold and wet all over again. And so, as such, the handful of visitors that go into this area every year are expected to be 100% self-reliant, because this really is one of the most dangerous wild regions in the world. But for Matt, as he looked out his window...
See, now this is the shit right here. Was that covered in the safety class? Like, I don't feel like 2 days of safety training and, survival, courses and shit. Like 2 days? That was enough to last 2 weeks in a fucking terrain and part of the world that has no help at all. Like, bruh. I mean, I love to go camping and I love to go do, my outdoorsy thing, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not equipped to just survive for 2 weeks on my own. Like, I think I could figure it out, but it would be a rough ass 2 weeks, bro. Like it would not be a fun 2 weeks. Like it would be survival mode, bro. Like it would be straight survival mode. Like there would be no like, oh yeah, bro, we're just kicking back, getting some relaxation, and this is amazing. Like no, it would be hard. I would be like, damn, bro, I wish I had a McDonald's. Damn, bro, the convenience of the shit that we have, and like I wouldn't even want. It's not even that I would want McDonald's of out of everything that I could have if I was able to have the convenience of fast food or whatever fucking restaurant I wanted. But the fact is when everything was taken away, you know how goddamn how good a goddamn Big Mac or a quarter pounder or some shit would sound, bro. I'm just saying. Let's go.
Surveyed this landscape.
Not
He
enough
wasn't
time.
second guessing his decision to go into this hostile environment. No. I mean, the reason he was willing to fork over all that money to go on this trip is because he really wanted to experience extreme wilderness firsthand. And so finally, the pilot of the float plane came into land on this little water inlet, and then the pilot ferried the craft over to this beach, and then Matt and the 7 others piled off onto land with all of their things. And then as the pilot turned around and left, the 2 Sierra Club trip leaders, a 61-year-old man named Rich Gross and a 60-year-old woman named Marta Chase, told the group to pick up their things and follow them. And so Rich and Marta led the hikers about 500 feet away from where they had just been dropped off, up to this slightly elevated, mostly flat area that kind of overlooked the fjord and had this incredible view of all the mountains around them. Now, unlike the temporary base camp they had been at for the past couple of days, this camp was nowhere near any forests. They were basically on a wide open plain that kind of went right up into these mountains. So it's very wide open where they're staying. And so after Rich and Marta instructed the group where to set up their tents, Matt and the others got to doing that, and then after they were all set up, Rich and Marta put a small electric fence around the perimeter of their tents to keep any nosy animals out, and then the group headed up a little bit higher on this mountain near them to take their first group photo. And in this photo, they all look so happy and so excited for what's to come. And over the next couple of days, their trip would go exactly to plan. During the daytime hours, they would hike all of their pre-planned hiking routes all over the mountains and down near the water. And at night, they would eat their food and drink fresh water from the fjord and swap stories from back home. But their perfect trip was about to become a nightmare. I've been married to my wife, Amanda, for nearly 12 years, and I just love her so much. She's so thoughtful, so kind.
This is a commercial. Shout out to Mr. Ballin and NordVPN for the sponsorship of Mr. Ballin. Yeah, moving on though. Shout out to both of them.
In the early evening hours of Tuesday, July 23rd, so 2 days.
I'm just gonna say, I would not have felt comfortable being in this extreme environment with that many people. Like, I hate to say it, but all of the people looked pretty old. So it's like, who is going to help you in like, for real? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry.
The group arrived in the Torngat Mountains.
I think I would need
Matt
a couple
and the
extra
others
people that
returned from one of their hikes.
A little younger.
Now, the day had been cold and rainy, but the group was
in
in good spirits. This was their last day at this particular camping spot. The next morning, they were going to pack up and head farther inland to their next camping spot. After Matt and the others had put their gear back inside of their tents, they came back out to see that Rich and Marta, the 2 trip leads, had organized a special feast for the group to celebrate the successful beginning of their trip. And so the group all sat around eating salami and crackers and drinking rum mixed with lemonade as they talked excitedly about the next couple of days and what they could expect. At some point during the festivities, Matt was tired, and so he broke away from the group. He climbed back inside of his tent, got inside of his sleeping bag, and before long, he was fast asleep. A few hours later, around 3:30 in the morning, Matt suddenly woke up. He had no idea what had woken him up, and so for a second, he just lay there listening to the outside world and just kind of staring straight up. Now, the moon was out that night, so there was some illumination, and as he looked straight up at the underside of his tent, he sees this huge figure move across the side of his tent and then stop right on top of him. And then before Matt's brain could process what was happening, this huge figure began pressing down on the fabric of Matt's tent. And so he's seeing his tent collapsing in on him. Matt's not doing anything. He's not saying anything. He's just watching in horror. And then suddenly the tent rips open and these two arms reach into the tent and they grab at Matt. And Matt threw his hands up in defense and screamed out for help. And as he did that, he suddenly felt this vice-like grip on the top of his head, and then before long, he was being pulled out of the hole in his tent out into the night. And as Matt is being dragged along on the ground, having no idea what's going on, he can't move. All he can hear is this crunching sound, which he would later find out was the sound of his skull and jaw breaking. And he started to smell this horrible rotten fish smell, and then he felt what felt like saliva coming over his face. And then Matt began kind of trying to look around because he couldn't really move his head, and he noticed all he could see was white fur. And it was then that Matt realized he was in the jaws of one of the world's most powerful and deadliest predators.
Polar bear?
Standing 10 feet tall on its hind legs and weighing as much as 1,700 pounds, the North American polar bear sits right on top of the Arctic food chain. And now...
What the fuck? Holy shit. You got fucking pulled about your tent by a goddamn polar bear, nigga?
This apex predator was dragging Matt by the skull down to the beach where Matt knew he would be eaten, even if Matt was still alive when the eating began. When the bear first ripped open Matt's tent and bit down on the top of his skull, Matt let out that scream, and it actually woke up the entire camp. And one of the first people to emerge from their tents to see what was going on was one of the trip leaders, Marta. And so she jumps out of her tent, and just 3 feet away from her, she sees this huge polar bear on its hind legs diving into the tent to get after Matt. And so Marta instinctively yells out to Rich to get his flare gun, and she dove back into her tent to retrieve her own flare gun. But by the time she and Rich had both emerged, gun in hand, this polar bear had already dragged Matt 200 feet away from the camp. And by this point, the other hikers in the group had also emerged from their tents. And after realizing what was going on, they just stood there, absolutely paralyzed with shock, staring at this bear dragging one of their companions down to the beach.
And nobody... Okay, hold on. Right, I'm with Svelana right now. Like, where's the gap for real? Like, why has nobody got some real shit? Like the Smith & Wesson, you know what I'm saying? A Glock, a fucking 1911, something more than a flare gun, bruh. What are you gonna scare them off with some lights? You gonna, I mean, I guess if you bust right at the polar bear, you might, maybe you'll start some fur on fire and like give his ass, like burn his ass and, give him a little bald spot or some shit. Like, what did you really expect the flare gun to do? Like, I guess scare him off? Like,
killed. Then, after Rich fired his flare gun generally in the direction of the bear, it kind of snapped the group out of their paralysis, and then moments later, they were all screaming and banging pots and pans to try to terrify the bear into releasing Matt from its jaws.
Scared.
Matt couldn't hear the sounds of his companions calling out to try to save him, nor did Matt feel any pain. He was in shock. The only thing going through Matt's head as he was being dragged along the ground to the beach was, I'm going to die. I'm either going to die on the way to the beach, or when I get there, then when the bear starts eating me, I'm going to die. And when he thought about this, it was with a kind of eerie, calm detachment. Like he wasn't sad or mad. It was just kind of a fact. This was going to happen. But as Matt was kind of making peace with his reality, Rich fired that flare gun shot, and that ball of chemical fire exploded basically right in front of the polar bear's face. And the polar bear, who was startled by the flare, instinctively whipped its head to the side, up, and then down again, and it didn't let go of Matt. And so Matt was whipped like a rag doll up, and then was slammed down into the ground. And when Matt hit the ground, he heard the sound of his neck breaking. But as As Matt was laying there, the bear released him from its jaws, and then behind Matt, the bear turned around and began walking away. And so Matt could hear the sound of its big paws moving away from him, and suddenly Matt's thinking, oh my God, I might survive this. And so he tried to lay as still as he possibly could so as not to attract any attention, and he began repeating in his head over and over and over again, please bear, go away, please bear, go away. But as if out of a horror movie, as Matt is laying there repeating this phrase, he hears the sound of this bear stopping, turning around, and start moving back towards him. And so Matt's just thinking, okay, it's going to come back over here, it's going to bite my head, and that's the end. But luckily, Rich, by this point, one of the trip leads, had run down closer to the beach, reloaded his flare gun, and right as this bear was going to bite Matt again, Rich had fired that flare, and once again, the chemical fire had kind of exploded right near the bear, causing it to get startled. It turned around, it ran off, and this time the bear did not return. It would turn out Rich and Marta, the two trip leaders from the Sierra Club, had chosen a location for this campsite that was so heavily trafficked by polar bears, it was referred to as a polar bear highway. When all of the hikers, which included Marta and Rich, had been given their safety brief when they were staying in those plywood structures at that base camp near the runway, well, part of the brief was whenever you make camp in the Torngots, you want to be at least a quarter mile away from water. Go way inland because the polar bears hunt and fish and walk around right along the edge of these fjords. But despite all 7 members of this Sierra Club expedition being experienced wilderness backpackers, none of them really appreciated just how dangerous it was to be camping or even hiking around in known polar bear territory.
Bruh.
And so this is why they ultimately ignored the safety brief and set.
This is why I said 2 days of a safety briefing and survival, tactics course was not enough to be in this fucking place, bro. I said it already. Like, what the? This was day 1. They didn't even make it like a week, not 2 weeks, not even a couple days. This is day fucking 1. This is the first night.
Their first camp just a couple hundred feet away from the water's edge. And even prior to the attack on Matt, when the group literally saw polar bears wandering around near their camp, and even at one point had to fire their flare guns at the polar bears to get them to leave, the group still decided it was best to stay at this particular campsite. Perhaps they believed their electric fence they had set up around the perimeter of their tents would protect them from these polar bears, but obviously that had not been the case. The bear that attacked Matt had been totally unaffected by their fence. Matt would survive this attack, but really only because one of the members of the expedition happened to be a medical doctor, and so they were able to stabilize Matt until help arrived. Matt's injuries were extensive. They included a broken skull, a broken jaw. He had slash marks and puncture wounds all over his head and his neck, and all of those wounds got horribly infected. And also his voice was permanently changed as well because the bear also slashed his vocal cords. Following the attack on Matt, Parks Canada, which is the agency that oversees all of Canada's national parks, including Torngots, has mandated that any organization going into Torngots National Park has to have a polar bear protection plan in place. As for Matt, he does not make a big deal about his near-death experience. In fact, he kind of makes light of it and sometimes even makes jokes about it. As for the polar bear that attacked him, Matt holds no ill will. If anything, the attack has made him more interested and appreciative of the apex predator. In August of 2014, so 11 months after Matt's brush with death, he returned to the Torngots and even visited the actual site of the attack, perhaps to get closure. Except this time, he was in the company of an armed polar bear expert.
Right, yeah, you need to, yeah.
So that's going to do it. If you got something out of today's episode and you haven't done this already, the next...
Yeah, that's crazy as shit, bro. Yeah, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Like, what kind of nonsense was that, bro? That shit, that is some crazy shit, bro. What the fuck? Oh man, let's listen to some other crazy stories. Let's keep the stories going. Let's keep the stories going. Oh man, let's listen to this story right here. Prison of filth.
Sheriff detectives say he kept his elderly disabled father locked inside his room for 8 months.
Elderly people deserve the respect from their children, but in this case, PBSO says the man kept his elderly father locked in his bedroom in absolutely filthy conditions with human waste and cockroaches and garbage all over the place.
Damn, what kind of foul shit is that, bro?
This week's episode has been brought to you by Glass.
Shout out to Glasses USA for their sponsorship.
Free shipping and returns and 100% money back.
Come on.
Super helpful.
All right, there we go.
There are many different reasons that couples have kids, but a common hope is that one day, if they're unable to care for themselves, they'll have family members that are able to help them. Quite often in a parent's time of need, a son or daughter makes it their duty to step up and lend a helping hand, to help and give back to their parents for the care that they received when they were young. We talk quite a bit about parents neglecting, mistreating, and even killing their own kids on this channel. But what about when it happens in the reverse? That's exactly what occurred in today's story.
On April.
Hold on, before we jump into this, you know what's so crazy that this is like the topic too? Is there was actually I was just reading a story about a 21-year-old man who stabbed his mother to death because she didn't push him to be a man. Like, what? I'm dead ass. Like that's you heard me right. He killed his mom because she did not push him to be a man. Like, oh man, it blew my mind when I fucking read that shit.
2022, an elderly man made a desperate 911 call to Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, claiming that he was in need of medical attention. The man, who has not been named by media sources, advised dispatchers that he had seizures a couple days prior and that his son refused to render aid. He also let them know that he had been locked away in his bedroom for 8 months. 2 sheriff's deputies joined first responders at the scene to assist. What they found at the West Palm Beach condo
in the first place?
Now, if the idea of elder neglect bothers you, things are only going to get worse from here. As deputies arrived at the condo located in Century Village, a 55-plus retirement community, first responders were already removing the man from the home. According to one of the deputies, he spoke with Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, who advised him that the residence was a severe health hazard, specifically in this man's bedroom, which was described as uninhabitable.
The deputy decided to have a look inside with his own eyes. At the entrance of the home, the stench was thick and unbearable. Inside of the condo, specifically in the man's bedroom, there was human waste covering every surface. On the walls, on the floors, and even on the bed. There was defecation everywhere. Palm Beach County Fire and Rescue noted that when they went to assist the bedridden man from his filthy bed, cockroaches had come out from underneath him. He too was covered in his own waste. In fact, it had made its way to his eyebrows, his ears, his beard, even in his hair. It was all over his arms. Police claimed there wasn't an inch of skin that was free from filth. His groin was covered in bed sores, and even though this hasn't been mentioned by any official sources, one could only imagine that this was made worse by the severe conditions that he was left in.
Detectives met with the man at an area hospital where he was being treated, and a sworn audio recorded interview was conducted. From a hospital bed, the man advised the detective that he had called emergency services because he could not take living the way he was living anymore. He went on to share that he had numerous strokes in the past that rendered him unable to walk, but from time to time he could muster up the strength to hobble over to his motorized wheelchair. The man then noted that within the past 2 days, he experienced 2 seizures and that he had not been able to move since.
Even though Century Village was a 55-plus retirement community, the man shared that his 22-year-old son, Jonathan Woods, as well as his son's girlfriend, had been living with him inside of the condo. Jonathan was supposed to be rendering care to his father and had moved in with him approximately 2 to 3 years prior. Due to his dire medical conditions, the man relied on his son to bring him food and water, as well as to keep him and their shared home clean. He advised that this had not been happening.
The man advised
so
the detective that
fucking
he had
foul,
not
bro.
eaten in at least 4 days, and that the last thing he remembered consuming was a leftover hamburger that Jonathan and his girlfriend had brought home from a restaurant. He noted that on numerous
Wow.
occasions, he would give the couple money to buy him food, and that they would just spend it on themselves. Jonathan had also taken his father's debit card and refused to return it. The man became emotional and through tears advised that within that past 8 months, he had not been allowed to leave his room and felt like he was being treated less than a human. Jonathan would
Facts.
tie a string to the exterior doorknob, connecting it to another door so that he was unable to come out, thus making him a prisoner in his squalor. The man stated that he did not want to get his son into trouble, but that he just couldn't live this way anymore. He stated that he was afraid he would die in his prison of filth if he continued to live in the conditions he was in. Now, at this point in the
Yeah,
story,
he
it's
would've.
pretty easy to feel outright disgust for Jonathan Woods. But to add insult to injury, while the elderly man was still being interviewed by the detective, he received a text message from his son Jonathan, sarcastically thanking him for calling the cops and essentially blaming him for the fact that he and his girlfriend were about to be arrested. He even went on to add that he should have told him he was going
What?
to call 911 so that way he could have cleaned up the place before police arrived.
The detective went out to the small, one-bedroom condo located at 130
The bruh, what? Somebody need to whoop his ass.
Salisbury F. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office crime scene technicians were already on the scene and were garbed in Tyvek suits and N95 masks. The stench of human waste was unbearable.
How do
And
you even
inside,
live
the
in that
detective
like, you have to be a nasty, just fucking just sick individual to even, oh, you should have let me know that you called the cops so I could clean it up. Like, why wouldn't you have cleaned it up in the first place, nigga? Like, what the fuck? You could have been cleaned that shit
boxes
up.
of miscellaneous items strewn about, as well as a sofa bed where the couple slept, which should be noted, appeared to be neatly made, and Jonathan and his girlfriend's living space was kept tidy and clean, free from any stains or
Wow.
marks. He also observed
Wow.
food in the kitchen and inside of the fridge and freezer, so there was no reason that the elderly father should not have been fed. The bedroom, however, was something straight out of a horror film. The detective observed human waste covering the floor, the bed, and every surface in sight, corroborating the deputy's statement, as well as garbage and cockroaches crawling all over the room, including on the bed. He observed plastic
is
bottles
so
filled with an
nasty.
amber yellow liquid, and I'm pretty sure you can guess what was inside of them,
Yeah, the
as well as
dudes,
the
those are
string
piss
that was
bottles.
attached to the door that was acting as a restraint that the man had described.
Next, Jonathan Woods and his girlfriend, who also has not been named, were interviewed by the detective in audio statements. Jonathan acknowledged that he was the caretaker for his father and stated that he knew that he had not been doing his job. The couple claimed that they did not know how bad things had gotten and that they felt that the smell that permeated the condo was not that bad. They confirmed that there
What?
was indeed food in the residence and they both ate when they needed to. They just neglected to feed Jonathan's bedridden father. The two readily admitted that they
Wow.
did not take care of him as they should have and knew what
So
they had
then y'all
done,
need to go to jail.
rather not done,
Yeah.
is wrong.
Y'all need to
Palm
go
Beach
to prison.
County Sheriff's Office crime
That
scene
right there.
technicians
Good.
took photographs of the conditions
There's
inside of the
consequences to
condo,
your
and they
actions, you
seized the
fucking
string that held the
dickheads.
bedroom door shut. The couple's cell phones were also secured for evidence purposes. Jonathan Woods was charged with false imprisonment and neglect of an elderly disabled adult and was booked on April 6, 2022 at 2 in the morning. And as of
Good.
the date of this recording, remains in jail in lieu of a $50,000 bond.
I
His
hope he
father
don't get
did
out for a
receive his debit card
long
back from his
time.
son, but only after he asked for it in front of sheriff's deputies. It is unknown how he's doing or where he's living at this time.
A quick Google search of the address for the 570 square foot condo that he shared with his son and his son's girlfriend shows it is currently listed for sale for $55,000. The listing describes a first floor unit for sale with lush foliage, beautiful landscaping, and friendly neighbors. But where were those neighbors? when their own neighbor was held captive in his bedroom for the better part of a year.
I mean, that's
I
not
would
fair.
think in a community like this, with neighbors so close, we got to take care of each other. And be
Yeah, but that's
mindful
not
of
fair
our
to
neighbors and
blame
what's
the
going
neighbors,
on.
though, or even
And
to
will
think that,
potential
like,
buyers
I mean,
ever
neighbor,
know of the
let's be real. Let's be real. Most of us don't know our neighbors for the most part. And if you do, it's really just kind of like, hey, neighbor, how you doing? Like, you don't even know their name. You know what I'm saying? They're just neighbor. You know what I'm saying? That neighbor and this neighbor. Like, you don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real about that. So I think that's kind of like an unfair thing to
that
put
took
on the
place
neighbors.
inside.
I mean, it would have been nice, you know, but at the same time, I don't think that that's a fair kind of like, you know, thing to throw onto them, you know, onto the neighbors and shit. Like, yeah, I don't think that's fair. Anyways, moving on. Where's... Oh, I know that. I think there's a new Sir Spooks. Oh, no, there isn't a new Sir Spooks. Who was it? Was it Mind Nightmare or not Mind Junkie? It was Mind Junkie. Yeah, there it is. All right, let's do a little scurry. Since we only do a scurry. 5 scurry ghost videos are making true.
Top 5 scary ghost videos.
Because I don't know.
Before we begin today's episode of Top 5 Scary Ghost Videos, I'd just like to remind you that if you enjoyed today's video,
hit that
please
subscribe
hit the
button.
like button and subscribe to help support the channel.
Big
The
fan. Shout out to
apparition.
Mind Junkie.
The first ghost video in today's scary compilation shows compelling paranormal activity caught on camera by the ghost hunting channel Ghost Tech Paranormal Investigations. The ghost hunters visit the old and allegedly haunted Leopard Inn Hotel located in Stoke-on-Trent, England. The hotel was originally built in the 1600s as cottages and then converted into a public house and hotel in 1743. Many sightings of ghosts and paranormal activity has been witnessed over the years at the Leopard Inn Hotel. One story is that of the spirit of one of the previous owners, James Norris, who has been sighted on numerous occasions walking up and down the wooden floors. In the 1800s, the basement of the hotel was used to hold prisoners awaiting execution, and tunnels connecting to the old courthouse from the hotel's basement have been recently discovered.
Why the... Okay, hold up. Why would you have prison cells for holding death like sentence inmates in it for like what? Like why? Like are you like were they executing people in like the fucking courtyard of the hotel or some shit? Like what? Like why would you? Okay, bruh, that makes
The landlady
no
of the
sense.
haunted hotel explains that the building is haunted by a dark shadow figure who she's seen wandering around the hotel late
What
at
up, Dougie?
night.
Hell yeah.
Apparently one
Like
night
I
she
said,
heard
you may know
footsteps
one or
climbing
two,
the
but
stairs
you
towards
ain't
her
gotta know all
door
your
on an upper floor. But when she
Most
went
people
to
don't
check,
know one,
no
so
one was
I'm
there.
just saying.
Ghost Step Paranormal Investigations start their ghost hunt by asking a series of questions where they hear some very strange answers. However,
That
a
shit
little
is
later
creepy.
into their investigation, they captured this on camera.
When we were setting up, only about 10-15 minutes ago, EMF detector went off and we saw shadows moving down on the second floor. So, third floor walk through. Is there anyone up on this floor that can hear me? You spoke to me not long ago. Last time I was here, I sat in that chair. And I asked you if you knew who I was, and you responded. Can you do that again for us, please? Maybe bang on the door or open the door.
Sounds like somebody's playing.
Did I just hear a child's voice?
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I heard like somebody playing or something.
It's really cold behind me as well.
Yeah, I've just gone cold. Did you feel that?
Yeah, I felt it.
Where did it come from, Pete?
Big gas, well not gas, but a lot of cold air come into my bag from there.
Something's moving down that way as well.
Yeah, and get
Something moving.
Bring your K2 in here, Jeff.
Did you see that? Like,
Come into
the little
my bank.
thing right here is moving. Oh shit! I did not mean to
15
do
minutes
that.
ago, EMF detector went off and we saw shadows moving.
My bad. Right here. I was trying to make sure the resolution.
Something's moving down that way as well.
There we go.
Yeah, and get
Something moving.
Bring your K2 in here, Jeff. A lot of cold air coming into my bank from there.
Something's moving down that way as
That
well.
little cloth is like
A lot of
moving,
cold air coming
wiggling.
into my bank from
Right
there.
here. It's the bottom one. But nothing else is
Something's moving down that way as well. I can hear you talking.
That is like the creepiest fucking house, little restaurant thing, bro. Whatever
you
the
make a
fuck it
noise?
is, it's creepy as shit. Or hotel or whatever.
Did you hear that?
Yes. Yep.
Can you make a noise? Can you make a noise? Did you hear that?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Who are you?
Somebody is like straight talking to these motherfuckers. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. It definitely is not behind you. It's ahead of us. Come here. Come show yourself. Behind me? No, it's down there. Behind me? No, it's down there.
Oh, something's walking down the hallway. What the fuck? Hell nah, bruh. That's for the birds. You keep that shit. Fuck that. Time to go. I mean, all the voices would have got me out quick. The first time I would have heard some shit, I'd have been running.
Captured on the Ghost Hunter's EVP device, a child's voice can be heard saying, "Who are they?" followed by a voice saying, "Ghost Hunters," albeit the second voice is quite hard to make out. Then a little later in the video, the sound of someone or something moving can be heard. Then as the team are in one of the corridors of the hotel, Phil calls out, "Who are you?" and a voice can clearly be heard saying, "Annie." The Ghost Hunters decide to place static cameras throughout the hallways and corridors of the haunted hotel. Then captured on Ghost Tech Paranormal Investigation static night vision camera placed on a different floor of the hotel, a mysterious ghostly apparition can be seen taking form at the end of the hallway before it slowly disappears through a wall. At first glance, it's quite hard to make out, but if we zoom in and enhance it slightly, there's definitely something there. Ghost Tech Paranormal Investigations claim that this footage they captured at the Leopard Hotel is 100% real evidence of the paranormal. And, as many of you know, these ghost hunters are
That
as
shit
legit
is
as
called
they
the Leopard
get.
Hotel.
But
I
what
said
do you
Leopold.
think? Did Ghost Tech Paranormal Investigations
I don't know
capture
what the
real
fuck I
paranormal
called it.
activity at this haunted hotel? You tell me. It sees you. This creepy video comes from the Korean ghost hunting channel thatguymilehigh. It was uploaded a couple of years ago and it has been shared before. However, I thought I'd feature it on my channel as it's one that has stuck in my head ever since the first time I watched it. In the video, we see Michael armed only with a camera and flashlight, exploring an old abandoned building in the dead of night, where a lot of bizarre things happen. However, later in the video, Michael ventures up to the top floor of the building, and this is where things get very, very creepy.
Oh, what the fuck? Bro, this shit is creepy.
As Michael is exploring the old building, a pair of pink flip-flops can be seen on the floor. Then the strange sound of footsteps can be heard coming from somewhere in the darkness behind him. Michael, who is frozen in terror, slowly turns around, and the pink flip-flops have mysteriously moved closer to him, as if something we can't see is now standing right next to him. However, it doesn't end there. Michael decides to do something in one of the rooms. He leaves the static camera recording and captures something absolutely terrifying.
자, 아까도 갖고 오세요. 제가 이것까지 뿌리기 싫습니다. 갖고 오세요. 갖고 오세요. 갖고 오세요. Can you get? 갖고 오세요.
What the fuck did you just throw?
오후 복귀 그만 살아 놀래키지 갖고 오세요.
What the fuck is that?
Can you get? 갖고 오세요. 갖고 오세요. 뭐야? 누구세요? 누구십니까?
Hell no.
Unaware to Michael at the time, creepy face appears in front of the camera and just eerily stares directly into it before quickly ducking out of sight. Michael then hears a loud noise and looks around, but the creepy figure that appeared in front of the camera is nowhere to be seen. D. Michael's viewers were left creeped out to by this creepy figure staring eerily at the camera, and many viewers stated that they had nightmares night after night after seeing this figure. But what do you think? Did D. Michael capture paranormal activity inside this abandoned building? And just who or what is this? You tell me. What was that?
That's some bullshit. That's
I
what
found
that
this
was.
next creepy video over on Facebook. It was uploaded by 207 Paranormal on the 2nd of September 2020. 207 Paranormal says that the following video was captured on a car's dashcam while they were driving on a quiet road late at night in Falmouth, Maine, USA.
Oh shit. Shadow ghost fucking thing just ran across the street. Motherfucker was hightailing it. The ghost of a fucking
A
racing
dark,
pig.
shadowy thing quickly crosses right in front of the car, but what is it? Facebook users have been left divided on this clip, with some commenters saying that it's a panther, bear, or simply just a black dog. However,
the
some
soul
argue
of
that
a
it's just too
demon
fast to
pig.
be any of those, and steer more towards it being something paranormal. But what do you think? Is this something paranormal? You tell me.
You tell me.
The Visitor. This next creepy video has been making the rounds on several Spanish channels and has left many viewers scared to go to sleep at night. The video is short and there's literally no information about it, but from what I could gather, the video shows a person lying in bed when all of a sudden something terrifying appears.
Oh, bruh. Nope. No. 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 No.
The door to the person's bedroom
Hell no.
violently swings open. Then someone or something with glowing eyes slowly peeks its head in, stares for a few seconds before quickly ducking out of view. The
Hell
person
no.
sees it and
I will
leaps out
move
of
the
bed.
fuck
But
out
when he gets
that
to where
night.
the figure was seen, there's
That
no one
night,
there.
I'm
This
packing
creepy
my
video
shit
has
and
gone
I'm
viral
out.
recently on Spanish channels
I ain't
due to
even
just
packing
how
shit.
creepy it
Just
is.
out.
And many people claim to have experienced similar encounters like this, with strange figures visiting them while they're asleep in their bed. But what do you think this could be? Is it something paranormal? You tell me. The summoning.
That.
The final ghost video in today's top 5 list comes from the Thai ghost hunter channel thatguymilehigh. Think that's how you pronounce it. In the video, the ghost hunters conduct a spiritual summoning at the scene of a car wreckage, where multiple occupants of the vehicles sadly passed away. Thai people believe that if someone dies as a result of an accident, then their spirit will continue to linger in the area, unaware that they are no longer alive. The ghost hunters perform their ritual by placing offerings, burning incense, and chanting a spell in front of the car. And then this happens.
ทุกป่าช้าสารพัดกูจับ
Oh
เสียงอะไรเสียงรถแต่นี่เสียงดังเดี๋ยวมาจากไหนอ่ะเฮ้ยอะไรเขามาเมื่อกี้เห็นคนในรถ
time to go
เมื่อกี้ยังเห็นอยู่ไหมแกไอ้นิ้วเข้าไปดูดิมึงน่ะแวบๆนึงกูเห็นเลยอ่ะไอ้ขนลุกเลยอ่ะ
As the ritual is being chanted, the horn of the red car begins to sound, startling the ghost hunters. Then, a mysterious figure appears in the front seat for a brief moment before it vanishes out of sight. Then out of nowhere, a mysterious shadow appears and quickly moves across the wall behind the car. So what do you think? Did thatguymilehigh summon the spirits of the people who passed away in the collision? Or
I saw the
maybe
back wall
it's
shadow, but I didn't
just
see the little dude in the
views.
fucking
You
front
tell
seat
me.
for that
Thanks so
little
much for
second.
watching. I've noticed a large number of...
That shit is wild as shit. Okay. Anyways, moving on. That was actually a pretty decent one right there. I ain't even gonna lie. That was a pretty decent one. All right, let's see. Is there any new caught on cameras? Nope. New slap ham? There's always a slap ham. 7 scary preview or weak sauce. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Oops, not that one. Nope. See what the... I don't want to watch that one. We're going to watch this one. We'll see this. We'll check out this slap ham. These 7 scary things will prove you are weak sauce. We're going to probably hop off after this one. Shout out to everybody.
How you doing? I'm Callan, and this is Slap Ham. Today we're looking at some super creepy things that have been caught on camera that are starting to freak the internet out. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more creepy content. Just like this.
Just like this.
Ever had a creepy feeling like you've been watched, but when you turn around you realise there's no one there? Well, in this video, uploaded to the Slaptam subreddit by Fellamundo, it seems that the poster managed to capture video evidence that someone was indeed watching him from afar. Take a look.
Oh, we've seen this. We saw this one, I think it was yesterday.
There appears to be a pale, ghostly face staring at him from the window.
That shit would be so creepy to see, bro.
The poster claims that he captured this unnerving footage early one morning while he was taking an outdoor whiz on his aunt's property in Gainesville, Florida. He goes on to say that at the time he captured the footage, all his family were asleep.
That shit would be so
He also notes that his family has a
bro.
darker skin tone, unlike the face seen in this video.
That shit look pale as shit, and it ain't blinking.
As the footage continues, the poster actually goes to the window to get a better look inside. However, as he does, the face seems to just disappear. He even points the camera inside the room, and there's no trace of anyone anywhere.
Yeah, that shit would be fucking creepy as shit. I'd be like, all right, auntie, it's time
After
for me
the
to
clip
go.
was posted
You know what I'm
online,
saying?
several
You have a
viewers
good one.
wondered
I'm
why
out.
the video suddenly
I'm sending
ended
this
just as he
video on
peeks
my way.
inside the window.
Way
The
down the
poster's
road.
response was that he was using Snapchat to film the incident, which has a limited amount of recording time. So who or what was watching the poster from the window? Could it have been a ghost, or is there another way to explain this chilling footage? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that I wouldn't want to stay anymore. I'm out. I gotta go.
Many supernatural enthusiasts believe that certain locations are more likely to be haunted than others. Places that see a lot of death, like battlefields, cemeteries, and hospitals, are high on the list when it comes to capturing proof of the paranormal. Reddit user Arachnid Altruist uploaded this clip that might show evidence of a ghost roaming the halls of the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. Take a look.
What do you see?
At first, the clip can be a little confusing as
Yeah,
it
I'm
shows
like,
a
what
woman
is she
scrolling
talking about?
between two separate pieces of video at once. The video on the left shows a woman pushing a trolley. In it, you can see clearly that
'cause
there
there's
doesn't
a
appear to be
face.
anyone standing behind her. In the second clip, we can see briefly the head of someone standing to the left of the
what
woman.
the fuck?
It's visible only for a split second before it vanishes from view.
Bro, that's creepy as shit. I was real confused too.
The woman
but
who's holding the
now
camera
that
then
he
explains that
pointed
if you
that
watch
out, like,
closely,
what
you can
the
see a
fuck was
shadow
that?
pop into view shortly after.
Oh, it ducked
The clip
down.
then continues, showing the hallway with two women walking towards the door. However, there appears to be no trace of the mysterious figure seen earlier. As usual, several viewers thought that they might have solved the mystery. They suggested that the whole thing might be a trick of perspective and that one of the people that we can see later walking down the hallway actually is the mystery person.
Nah, fuck that. That ain't
So
her.
what do you think? Is
Nope.
there a ghost haunting the halls of the
Of
Children's
course,
Hospital
probably.
in LA? Or can this footage be explained in some other way? Watch the clip again and let me know in the comments.
Damn, that's weird. And it all ducked out the cut.
Does
like,
this next video really show paranormal activity? You be the judge. In the brief
Bruh.
clip uploaded to Reddit by Steven
I'm
Needs
out.
Help, we see a kitchen drawer opening seemingly all by itself.
I'm out.
The poster says that his sister recorded the footage around midnight and that it's actually the first time they've got something on camera. While the video has garnered many upvotes on Reddit, some viewers think the drawer itself might be unlevel, in this case making it open slowly when it's packed with items in an imbalanced way. Either that or a fine piece of wire or fishing line has been attached to the drawer and someone is pulling it open off
I mean,
camera.
yeah, that's very possible.
As is often the
But
case
if-
with these types
if
of
that's
videos,
not
we
the
have to
case
take
and
the
you really did
poster's
capture
word.
shit like that,
Does it really
I'm
show
out.
some paranormal activity? I think we can hold off on calling the Ghostbusters on this one, at least for the time being. These next two photos were posted to our Slaptam community page over on Facebook. Captured by Kaza Highlands, the first image shows a typical scene at the park. Children are running around having fun and we can see the poster's son in the foreground. However, pay particular attention to the little girl in the background just to the right of the poster's son's shoulder. In the second photo, taken about 15 seconds later, the young girl doesn't seem to be there anymore. Instead, it looks as though she's been replaced by a pale, ghoulish-looking figure.
Bro, that looked like a little demon.
When the photos were posted to Facebook, viewers
What
seemed to be
the
at a loss to explain the second image.
Right, that shit is creepy.
Could this just be a
Little
case of
demon
pareidolia,
child.
caused perhaps by the camera itself, or is there something more mysterious going on here? Take a look at these images side by side and judge for yourself.
That little girl was creepy. She got demons.
This image was sent to us by a man
Goddamn.
named Chuck Walters. He says that the picture was captured in Bay City, Michigan at a golf club adjoining a resort hotel. The sender claims that the photo was actually given to him by a staff member who said that the ladies seen in the pic were checking out the facilities for an upcoming wedding. While the exact golf club where the image was captured isn't mentioned, the sender does note that this particular one had a troubled past with several suicides committed on the premises. The ghostly figure could be the result of long exposure. However, it seems unlikely as nothing else in the image is blurry or transparent. Furthermore, the women seem to be using a cell phone to take the picture, so why would it be set to take a long exposure photo? Does this golf resort really have a resident ghost? Until more information comes to hand, this mystery will have to remain unsolved.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's like, I don't know. It's like I feel like one of them weird perspective pictures. Where it's like, you might be able to call some ghost shit, but then I
Are we
don't
being
know. You might be able
visited
to
by
explain that one away.
aliens? And if so, is the military aware? These questions continue to be asked worldwide.
Yeah, the
In this
military's
video
aware.
posted to Instagram by Carol
these
Capel
aliens?
Official, we see footage that might just answer both these questions at once. The clip begins as the camera holder focuses in on an object that appears
What
to
up,
be
Mike?
hovering in the sky. Take a look.
He said it's a mannequin head.
Suddenly, a jet comes thundering into view. It seems to circle the area. The footage then cuts to the object again. This time, the jet also comes into view. Suddenly, the mysterious object seems to vanish from sight. In the
Damn,
description,
she
the
should've just
poster
stayed
notes that the
looking at
footage
it.
was captured in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and that the jet or jets seen are actually from the Brazilian Air Force. So does this video show proof that the government is aware of extraterrestrial visitors?
Yeah,
Watch the
of
clip
course.
again and decide for yourself.
That shit took off wherever it went.
Before we take a look at the last freaky clip on our list, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be in the
Man,
loop
what would
every
you do
time
if
we
a big
drop our
ass bear was in
scary
your
and creepy
backyard
videos.
swatting at your dog and shit? The fuck? That would be crazy as shit.
This last video on our list proves that something doesn't need to be supernatural to be frightening. Uploaded by Viral Hog, the clip shows just how unexpectedly scary nature can actually be.
Oh, and she got little fucking cubs? Oh, that's why she was swatting at him and not just running off. Whoa, lady, what the
Captured in Bradbury, California, the clip shows
Bro, what kind of ball sack does this bitch got? She got them heavy nuts. What kind of shit, babe? Whoa, bitch. Yo. Did that lady just come out the woodworks and fucking push a bear off of the fucking... She said, fuck you, you goddamn son of a bitch. Push
a bear
that
appear from the bushes. As it walks its way along the suburban
fuck?
fence, it becomes
She
apparent
said,
that
you
it has
hurt
two
my
small
dog.
cubs following
And you ain't about
behind.
to eat my little one. Fuck you. I'm gonna
We
protect
hear
mine
several
like you
dogs
protect
barking
yours.
as they run into view.
Oh, shit.
The commotion startles the cubs, who run back towards the bushes. The bear then takes a swipe at the larger dog, who's bravely defending its territory.
But gets swatted and runs off. Look, bam, right there. That motherfucker
Another
took
smaller
off.
dog approaches the bear, and if you watch closely, it actually looks like it's about to scoop it up off the ground. Luckily, a woman runs to its rescue and pushes the bear off the fence. Startled, it too runs back to the safety of the bushes.
That lady is a gangster. Look at her. She fucking damn near
According to
went
the
off
video's
the
description, the
fucking-
woman seen in the clip
Oh,
only suffered a
man.
sprained finger, and the dog just received a few scratches, but other than that, everyone was okay. A lucky escape.
He got him good
for
though,
all
because that dog
involved.
took his ass off after he got fucking swatted like that. That lady's wild, bro.
Well, that's the end of today's episode. Thank you.
That is crazy. That was a good little video to fucking end it off with right there, actually. Yo, shout out to everybody out there that's watching, man. I appreciate you rocking with your boy. If you have not subscribed and you know, liked what you saw and you want to join us for some other lives and some videos and other things, you dig what I'm saying? Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification and have all your notifications on. And yeah, we will catch you guys later. Well, tomorrow. I should be able to. I should have time to get some reactions and stuff up. I was super busy today, so I hadn't have time. So I apologize. But we made the live, so we lit. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna catch you guys later, man. Y'all have a good rest of the night, good week, and yeah, I'll see y'all later. Peace.